Hello again, my name is Lana and welcome to my living room. I am here to support, uplift, inspire, and empower you to be the best version of you can be and what you're meant to bring to the world. So, as we continue with the Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, we begin with chapter 11. Continuing on, Pain, the Price of Freedom. One of the essential requirements for true spiritual growth and deep personal transformation is coming to peace with pain. No expansion or evolution can take place without change, and periods of change are not always comfortable. Who can attest to that one? Change is like death, and it requires going through the cycles of grief. And it is a natural process that most of us evade, avoid. We don't want to feel bad because we've been conditioned that we're only supposed to seek what feels good. And so again, as we've been learning and discussing through this entire reading, is that our minds, our thoughts are always about the problem we perceive, and your mind is always seeking to protect you from the pain in avoidance or running from it. Change involves challenging what is familiar to us and daring to question our traditional needs for safety, control, and comfort. This is often perceived as a painful experience. Becoming familiar with this pain is a part of your growth. Even though you may not actually like the feelings of inner disturbance, you must be able to sit quietly inside and face them if you want to see where they come from. Once you can face your disturbances, you will realize that there is a layer of pain seated deep in the core of your heart. This pain is so uncomfortable, so challenging, and so destructive to the individual self that your entire life is spent avoiding it. Your entire personality is built upon ways of being, thinking, acting, and believing that were developed to avoid this pain. Since avoiding the pain prohibits you from exploring the part of your being that is beyond that layer, real growth takes place when you finally decide to deal with the pain. Because the pain is at the core of the heart, it radiates out and affects everything you do. You are always emitting energy. The question is, how tuned in to that energy are you? How responsible are you for the energy you bring? Because you attract where you're at. That's a truth. So magnetizing from the heart is what we do. But this pain is not the physical pain that you receive as messages from your body. Physical pain is only there when something is physiologically wrong. Inner pain is always there, underneath, hidden by the layers of our thoughts and emotions. We feel it most when our hearts go into turmoil, like when the world does not meet our expectations. This is an inner psychological pain. The psyche is built upon avoiding this pain, and as a result, it has fear of pain as its foundation. Just think about that. Your psyche, your whole foundation, is essentially based on fear. The fear is your backbone. That's some scary stuff. That's pretty deep. That is what caused the psyche to be. To understand this, you must notice that if the feeling of rejection is a major problem for you, you will fear experiences that cause rejection. That fear will become part of your psyche. Even though the actual events causing rejection are infrequent, you will have to deal with the fear of rejection all the time. That is how we create a pain that is always there. If you are doing something to avoid pain, the pain is running your life. All your thoughts and feelings will be affected by your fears. And I also wrote in there, same energy as chasing your desires. Takes equal amount of energy to focus on your desires to achieve and run toward them as it does to avoid the pain you wish not to receive or experience. True story. You will come to see that any behavior based upon the avoidance of pain becomes the doorway to pain itself. You attract where you're at. That energy is always present with you. Most people are unconscious of it. It's so deep into their psyche, subconscious, they don't even realize that's what they're attracting because they're numbed out to it. If you are afraid of being rejected by someone and you approach that person with the intention of winning their acceptance, you are skating on thin ice. All they have to do is look at you the wrong way, say the wrong thing, and you will feel the pain of rejection. The bottom line is that since you approached them in the name of rejection, you're going to be dancing on the edge of rejection throughout the interaction. One way or another, the feelings you're experiencing will work their way back to the motive behind your actions. The avoidance of pain is what your actions are linked to, and you will feel that link in your heart. It's like the boomerang effect. So here you are approaching them in the name of seeking validation so that you're not feeling rejected, and yet because you've set yourself up for that, you're skating on thin ice. You are dancing this it's like boxing. You're avoiding the punch. You're coming in, you're trying to get close, and you're just hoping you don't get hooked in there. And the reality is you set yourself up for the whole experience. So no matter what you're doing here, because the motive behind it was to avoid the pain, you're actually drawing it towards yourself, thinking you're not, or not thinking at all, actually. The heart is where pain comes from, and this is why you feel so many disturbances as you go through the day. You have this core of pain deep in your heart. Your personality traits and behavior patterns are all about avoiding this pain. You avoid it by keeping your weight a certain way, wearing certain clothes, talking in a certain way, and choosing a certain hairstyle. Everything you do is about the avoidance of this pain. If you want to validate this, just see what happens if someone mentions your weight or criticizes your clothes. You feel pain. Every time you do something in the name of avoiding pain, that something becomes a link that holds the potential for the pain you're avoiding. If you do not want to deal with the pain at its core, then what you do to avoid it had better work. If you are hiding yourself in a busy social life, then anything anyone does that challenges your self-esteem, such as not inviting you to an event, will cause you to feel the pain. Let's say you call a friend to go see a movie and they say they're busy. Some people feel hurt by that. You will feel pain if the reason you called them was the avoidance of pain. Let's say you go outside and you call your dogs, "Hey Spot, come here," and he doesn't come. If the reason you called Spot was to feed him, you just put the bowl down and let him eat when he wants. But if you called Spot because you had a hard day and Spot didn't come, you would feel pain. Even the dog doesn't like me. Why would there be heartfelt pain in the dog not coming? Why would there be pain in a friend saying they are going someplace else and they can't go to the movie today? How does that generate pain? It is because deep inside there is pain that you have not processed. Your attempt to avoid this pain has created layer upon layer of sensitivities that are all linked to the hidden pain. These are triggers or charges, or however you want to see them as, but essentially, when it feels like something is stirring within you, it is revealing the source of an unhealed pain within you. So if someone says something you don't like, if someone rejects you, and you react, you become emotional, you become irrational, because you're operating from that level of pain. In that moment, in the moment that you're triggered, that brings all of your old traumas to the surface in that moment. And this is why we say when you become emotional, you become irrational, because you're operating from the pain. And we cannot make sustainable, conscious decisions when we are operating from the unconscious, subconscious pain place. Sit with that for a moment. How pain is running the show, and it's not helping you grow, it's keeping you small. So when we react to something that doesn't feel good, as opposed to taking a deep breath and setting back and going, oh wow, look at that. Look at how that's kind of churning something up in me. What is it about? Where do I feel it in my body? Can I sit behind the experience? Can I observe? Can I witness what is arising? Those are always opportunities for growth. And we say, bless your enemies because they raise you the highest. So if someone has put a poker in your pain, a little salt in your wound, bless them, because they're serving as a catalyst to serve it up on a silver platter without a bow, giving you the opportunity to deal with it now, because you didn't deal with it in the past. And when you didn't deal with it in the past, it just sat there festering. It lingered longer because you suppressed it, and now it's being expressed once again. So we operate from the level of pain that we still carry. That's really humbling, because how many times have you reacted to someone and then walked away and was like, wow, I'm really embarrassed about the way I behaved. I really didn't mean to say those things that were hurtful, because you were coming from your hurt. Hurt inflicts hurt. It carries forth and continues the cycle. And we need to be more present with the breath, always, in all ways. So let's take a moment to see how these layers build up. In order to avoid the pain of rejection, you work hard to maintain friendships. Since you've seen that it is possible to get rejected, even by friends, you are going to work harder and harder to avoid it. To succeed, you have to be sure everything you do is acceptable to others. This determines how you dress and how you act. Notice you're no longer focused directly on rejection. Now it's about your clothes, how you walk, or what you drive. You've gone another layer further away from the core of pain, that root pain. If somebody comes up to you and says, wow, I thought you could afford a nicer car than that, you feel a disturbing reaction. How could that cause pain? What's a big deal if somebody says something about your car? You have to ask yourself what it is that reacted in your heart. What is that feeling? Why is that happening? People don't normally ask why. They just try to keep it from happening. You must go deeper than that and look at the dynamics of the layers that have been created. At the core, there is the pain. Then, in order to avoid the pain, you try to stay busy with friends and hide in their acceptance. That is the first core layer. Then, in order to assure your acceptance, you try to present yourself a certain way so that you can win friends and influence people. That is another layer. Each layer is attached to the original pain. This is why simple everyday interactions can affect you so much. If the core pain was not the motivation behind proving yourself each day, what people say would not affect you. But since avoiding the core pain is why you're trying to prove yourself, you end up bringing the potential for pain into everything that happens. You end up so sensitive that you are unable to live in this world without getting hurt. You cannot even interact with people or do normal daily activities without events affecting your heart. If you look carefully, you watch, and you will see that even simple interactions often cause some degree of pain, insecurity, or general disturbance. To get some distance from this, you first need to get some perspective. Walk outside on a clear night and just look up into the sky. You are sitting on a planet spinning around in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Though you can only see a few thousand stars, there are hundreds of billions of stars in our Milky Way galaxy alone. In fact, it is estimated that there are over 1 trillion stars in the spiral galaxy. And that galaxy would look like one star to us, if we could even see it. You're just standing on one little ball of dirt and spinning around one of the stars. From that perspective, do you really care what people think about your clothes or your car? Do you really need to feel embarrassed if you forget someone's name? How can you let these meaningless things cause pain? If you want out, if you want a decent life, you had better not devote your life to avoiding psychological pain. You had better not spend your life worrying about whether people like you or whether your car impresses people. What kind of life is that? It is a life of pain. You may not think that you feel pain that often, but you really do. To spend your life avoiding pain means it's always right behind you. At any point, you could slip and say the wrong thing. At any point, anything can happen. So you end up devoting your life to the avoidance of pain. Once you look inside yourself and start to own this, you will see that you are back to the same two foundational choices. One choice is to leave the pain inside and continue to struggle with the outside. The other choice is to decide that you don't want to spend your entire life avoiding the inner pain. You'd rather get rid of it. Few people ever dare to turn the process inside like this. Most people don't even realize that they are running around with pockets of pain inside that need to be worked out. Do you really want to carry this inside and have to manipulate the world to avoid feeling it? What would your life be like if it wasn't run by that pain? You would be free. You could walk around this world completely free, just having fun, just being comfortable with whatever happens. You can actually live a life full of interesting experiences and just enjoy these experiences, whatever they are. In essence, you can simply live your life and experience what it's like to be on a planet that is spinning around in the middle of nowhere until you die. To live at this level of freedom, you must learn not to be afraid of inner pain and disturbance. As long as you are afraid of the pain, you will try to protect yourself from it. The fear will make you do that. If you want to be free, simply view inner pain as a temporary shift in your energy flow. There is no reason to fear this experience. You must not be afraid of rejection or how you would feel if you got sick or if someone died or if something else went wrong. You cannot spend your entire life avoiding things that are not actually happening, or everything will become negative. All you will end up seeing is how much can potentially go wrong. Do you have any idea how many things can cause inner pain and disturbance? Probably more than there are stars in the sky. If you want to grow and be free to explore life, you cannot spend your life avoiding the myriad of things that might hurt your heart or mind. You must look inside yourself and determine that from now on, pain is not a problem. It is just a thing in the universe. Somebody can say something to you that can cause your heart to react and catch fire, but then it passes. It's a temporary experience. Most people can hardly imagine what it would be like to be at peace with inner disturbance. But if you do not learn to be comfortable with it, you will devote your life to avoiding it. If you feel insecurity, it's just a feeling. You can handle a feeling. If you feel embarrassed, again, it's just a feeling. It's just a part of creation. If you feel jealousy and your heart burns, just look at it objectively. like you would a mild bruise. It's a thing in the universe that is passing through your system. Laugh at it, have fun with it, but don't be afraid of it. It cannot touch you unless you touch it. Powerful. It's like they say, don't touch the hot stove. How many of us insisted on touching it, and then we got burnt? We learned our lesson with that. So why haven't we learned our lessons with touching our pain? Why do we keep allowing it to run our lives? Let's explore this by looking at a basic human tendency. When something painfully touches your body, you tend to pull away instinctively. You even do this with unpleasant smells and tastes. The fact is, your psyche does the same thing. If something disturbing touches it, its tendency is to withdraw, to pull back, and to protect itself. It does this with insecurity, jealousy, and any other vibrations we have been discussing here. In essence, you close, which is simply an attempt to put a shield around your inner energy. You can feel the effects of this as the sensations of contraction occur within your heart. Somebody says something displeasing and you feel disturbance in your heart. Then your mind starts talking, I don't have to put up with this. I'll just walk away and never speak to them again. They'll be sorry. Your heart is attempting to pull back from whatever experience that's unpleasant to protect itself so that it doesn't have to experience that feeling again, avoiding the pain. You do this because you can't handle the pain you're feeling. As long as you can't handle the pain, you will react again and again by closing in order to protect yourself. Once you close, your mind will build an entire psychological structure around your closed energy. Your thoughts will try to rationalize why you're right, why the other person's wrong, and what you should do about it. That's that head stepping in instead of tapping into the heart. Because the head is what gets in the way. It's not the heart that leads you astray. It's the head. And so what happens is our mind jumps in, step back, I got this. The mind juts the head forward. And that's another thing I speak about when I teach my classes. When you check your body alignment, if your head is jutted forward, you're putting 10 pounds of pressure in between your shoulder blades for every inch your head juts forward. And that shows you're in the future, that your head's trying to lead the way, trying to run the show. You tuck that head back in, you get into your breath and your body, because the head is all about being right. And that's just a simple defense mechanism that most people go into because at some point they didn't feel protected or didn't get their needs met when they were a child. And to numb the pain, it's easier to make the other person look like the bad guy as a way to feel validated and justified and not go into the pain. So that's just a mask. That's just a shielding and a numbing out. Instead of accepting that, wow, I actually, that bothered me. It's okay. You got to feel it to reveal it so we can heal it. So the reality is here we are in a situation where we're feeling pain, but instead of going into the pain, most people go into defense and they actually separate themselves from the pain so that the pain doesn't hurt as much. But it's still there. You're not getting rid of it by telling a story or putting someone else down. That's just your mind trying to protect you and trying to be right. And your heart is what is suffering as a result of not acknowledging this. We need to acknowledge when we feel pain so it doesn't happen again. It's all about being present in the moment, because that's the gift of the now. That when you give the gift of your presence, in essence, you can clear those channels that get blocked with the pain. So we don't keep on carrying the same luggage around. That stuff gets heavy. I know. If you buy into this, it will become a part of you. For years, the pain will remain inside and actually become one of the building blocks of your entire life. It will shape your future reactions, thoughts, and preferences. When you deal with the situation by resisting the pain it causes you, you will have to adjust your behavior and thoughts in order to protect yourself every single time. You will have to do this so that nothing aggravates what you have held inside about the incident. You will end up building an entire protection structure around the closure. If you have the clarity to watch this happen, if you have the clarity of mind to watch this happen and understand the long-term consequences, you will want to be free of this trap. You will never be free, however, until you get to the point where you are willing to release the initial pain instead of avoiding it. You must learn to transcend the tendency to avoid the pain. Wise beings do not want to remain a slave to the fear of pain. They permit the world to be what it is instead of being afraid of it. They wholeheartedly participate in life, but not for the purpose of using life to avoid themselves. If life does something that causes a disturbance inside of you, instead of pulling away, let it pass through you like the wind. After all, things happen every day that cause inner disturbance. At any moment, you can feel frustration, anger, fear, jealousy, insecurity, or embarrassment. If you watch, you will see that the heart is trying to push it all away. If you want to be free, you have to learn to stop fighting these human feelings. I know he references it's the heart that's pushing it away, but I truly believe it's really the head. The heart is just wincing in pain from the misalignment in the mind, because the mind has a story around an incident that it gets triggered, and then the heart, this is my personal interpretation and what I've learned, the body's always telling on the mind. So when the body feels a reaction, a guttural, ugh, the heart sinks. You feel pain in the heart. It's a response to the mind, the BS, our belief systems, that it's really having. It's so funny that we talk about the mind and that we're feeling it in the heart as if it's the heart that's having the problem. But true essence is, it's the head that's got the ego going, making you think it's your heart. I got hurt. My heart was broken. Your heart wasn't broken. Your ego got busted. The ego is upset because you got rejected. The ego's upset is because you didn't get your needs met. The heart feels hurt because the ego's telling a lie. The ego won't own the truth. So with kinesiology, you want to know the truth, tap into your body's wisdom, because the mind will lie every single time. And every single time the mind lies, the body's going to tell you. But you need to learn to tap into your inner wisdom. You have to learn to listen to your body's guidance system, because this is your inner GPS right here. Guiding from physiological responses in a psychologically disturbed mind. Your BS, your belief systems. Hijacks you every time and has you thinking it's your heart. That's how clever it is. It's able to pull that over your eyes. It is able to deceive you enough to make you think your heart got broken, when in reality, it was just your ego got busted and your needs didn't get met. And that's when we come back to, whoo, that's humbling. How we manipulate. It doesn't matter if you're the victim or the perpetrator. We are always seeking to get our needs met. But how are we manipulating the situation or the circumstances to get those needs met? So just like the pain, and we say, if you don't own your pain, you don't feel your pain and heal it. Essentially, it's the same thing with getting your needs met, because that's pain right there. That's the same pain. It's the same energy. So when you show up from that place of pain, when you show up from that place of unmet needs, you've set yourself up to be let down, And it's not by the other person. It's you with the agenda behind the scenes. It's you with the hidden motive that you don't communicate, but you got an expectation and an attachment to the BS that they have to do something to make you feel better. I had to figure this out from my own personal experiences and really sitting in humbleness of my own reflections and mindset and just lots of meditation. And I'm like, ooh, I did that. Wow. But most people don't go that deep. Not everybody can really own that in themselves. But when you do, you completely liberate yourself and you become much stronger, because what you know about yourself, you can see in others, because we mirror each other. Been there, done that. You see it in another and you go, wow, I am that too. And if you can't see God in all, you can't see God at all. So God is in every single one of us. And so when you see something in someone, it's not to reject them. Okay, I've been like that, so I see that in that other person. No, it's to have compassion, because once you own it in yourself, you start to learn compassion for yourself, and that's how you extend it out. But until you own it in yourself, it'll always look like it's on the outside of you. Until you go inside, you will always go without. So you claiming that someone on the outside has done something to you, when in reality it was coming from the inside, and it just mirrored it back, right back at you. Energetically, that's what you were emitting, and that's what you attracted. You attract where you're at. Not everybody wants to hear that or have those tough conversations, but that's how we heal. Is by being fully transparent and honest with ourselves. Who cares if you tell the world that, hey, I was a bad person, had bad thoughts, and I was trying to manipulate to get my needs met? You don't have to say that. That's kind of a given. It's all good. You'll figure it out. We're all figuring it out together. We're all walking each other home. Just be kinder on yourself first. And then you'll be able to be kinder with others too. That's how that works. When you feel pain, simply view it as energy. Just start seeing these inner experiences as energy passing through your heart before the eye of your consciousness. Remember to be the witness. Then relax. Do the opposite of contracting and closing. Relax and release. Relax your heart until you are actually face to face with the exact place where it hurts. Stay open and receptive so you can be present right there the tension is. Stay open and receptive so you can be present, be the gift, right where the tension is. You must be willing to be present right at that place of the tightness and pain, and then relax and go even deeper. This is very deep growth and transformation. But you will not want to do this. You will find tremendous resistance to doing this, and that's what makes it so powerful. As you relax and feel the resistance, the heart will want to pull away to close. It's actually the head, keep that in mind. It will want to close, protect, and to defend itself. Keep relaxing. Relax your shoulders and relax your heart. Let go and give room for the pain to pass right through you. It's just energy. Just see it as energy and let it go. And remember, the fear is the pain. The pain is fear. That pain is coming from a place of fear. So the fact that you're even giving your attention to that pain, even the pain is like, I don't know if I want to be seen. There's like an energy to the pain itself of fear of being seen and weak, when in reality, it just needs compassion as much. So if you can see with kind eyes that pain needs compassion from you and not resistance, that's where it dissipates. That's how you dissolve it. That's how you resolve it. And it goes. If you close around the pain and stop it from passing through, it will stay in you. That is why our natural tendency to resist is so counterproductive. If you don't want the pain, why do you close around it and keep it? Do you actually think that if you resist, it will go away? It's not true. If you release and let the energy pass through, then it will go away. If you relax when the pain comes up inside your heart and actually dare to face it, it will pass. Every single time you relax and release, a piece of the pain leaves forever. Yet every time you resist and close, you are building up the pain inside. Because every time you feel the pain, again, you are experiencing every time, every occurrence of unresolved pain that still remains inside of you. So the moment you're triggered, see if you can have compassion and breathe in that moment and recognize, I am being triggered right now. I am essentially drawing upon all of my unhealed, past, painful, traumatic experiences. By recognizing that in itself, that's huge. Because you need to start with the compassion for yourself, that you are feeling something disturbing within. Yet every time you resist and close, you are building up the pain inside. It's like damming up a stream. You are then forced to use the psyche to create a layer of distance between you, who experiences the pain, and the pain itself. That is what all the noise is inside your mind, an attempt to avoid the stored pain. If you want to be free, you must first accept that there is pain in your heart. You have stored it there, and you've done everything you can to keep it there deep inside so that you never have to feel it. There is also tremendous joy, beauty, love, and peace within you. But they are on the other side of the pain. On the other side of the pain is ecstasy. On the other side is freedom. Your true greatness hides on the other side of that layer of pain. You must be willing to accept pain in order to pass through to the other side. Just accept that it is in there and that you are going to feel it. Accept that if you relax, it will have its moment before your awareness, and then it will pass as it always does. And how it's meant to be is not to be clung to so tightly. Sometimes you will notice that it feels hot inside as pain passes. In fact, as you relax into the energy of the pain, you may feel tremendous heat in your heart. That is the pain being purified from your heart. Learn to enjoy that burning. It is called the fire of yoga. It does not seem enjoyable, but you will learn to enjoy it because it is freeing you. In truth, pain is the price of freedom. And the moment you are willing to pay that price, you will no longer be afraid. The moment you are not afraid of the pain, you'll be able to face all of life's situations without fear. Sometimes you will go through deep experiences that bring up intense pain inside of you. If you have any wisdom, you will leave it alone and not try to change your life to avoid it. You will just relax and give it the space it needs to release and burn through you. You do not want this stuff inside your heart. To feel great love and freedom, to find the peace of God within you, all of this stored pain must go. It is in this inner work that spirituality becomes a reality. Spiritual growth exists in that moment when you are consciously willing to pay the price of freedom. You must be willing at all times, in all circumstances, to remain conscious in the face of the pain, and to work with your heart by relaxing and remaining open. Remember, if you close around something, you will be psychologically sensitive about that subject for the rest of your life. Because you stored it inside of you, you will be afraid that it will happen again. But if you relax instead of closing, it will work its way through you. If you stay open, the blocked energy inside of you will release naturally and you will not take on any more. This is the core of spiritual work. When you are comfortable with pain passing through you, you will be free. This world will never be able to bother you again, because the worst the world can do is hit the pain stored within you. If you do not care, if you no longer are afraid of yourself, you are free. You will then be able to walk through this world more vibrant and alive than ever before. You will feel everything at a deeper level. You will begin to have truly beautiful experiences rise up within you. Eventually, you will understand that there is an ocean of love behind all of this fear and pain. That force will sustain you by feeding your heart from deep within. Over time, you will form an intensely personal relationship with this beautiful inner force. It will replace the relationship you currently have with the inner pain and disturbance. Now peace and love will run your life. When you pass beyond the layer of pain, you will finally be free from the binds of the psyche. There's purpose in our pain, and it's to bring us to our joy. But most often, we're more consumed by the pain than in recognizing that the pain is our greatest teacher, that pain brings us to our peace if we're willing to reclaim that peace, to not see the pain as a threat, but kind of, you could even look at the pain as like a scared animal, an animal that has been locked up away deep inside, that seeks your attention. That pain, essentially, is your inner child that's been neglected, overlooked, forgotten. That why do we seek to have our needs met? Why do we manipulate and expect others to do it for us when we don't realize it's us that needs to do it for us? That when we reclaim and remind our inner child that I've got you, the pain will cease to exist when you start taking care of you first. When you feel whatever you're feeling, acknowledge it, allow it to teach you. Feelings are the guidance system of our body. It is the wisdom. It's telling us what's misaligned in our mind because it's lodging and showing up in our bodies. Emotions are energy in motion, and so it's okay. No matter how you feel, be okay with that. It may not feel the best, but you got to get better at feeling. Feeling is healing. When you're feeling, it's revealing, and then you're healing. If you're willing to go within and allow whatever comes up. Whatever you reject in yourself is essentially what the world rejects in you. That's how that works. If you own and claim your pain, like, wow, others are going to also have that compassion with you because it's energy. That pain is energy. And if that pain feels rejected, that's why you're attracting rejection. If the pain is seeking your attention and you're going elsewhere, and then you wonder why you're not getting attention from the outside world, it's because you're not giving it to yourself first. That is how the world shows up to you, is how you show up to you. It's essentially the boomerang, it's the mirroring, whatever you want to call it. It's energy. And energy is always telling on us. We walk into a room, our energy is speaking long before we open our mouths. People notice you. You stand out because of your energy, whatever that looks like and whatever that feels like. Because we all have it. That's the gift of this human existence, is that we have the ability to feel and to be more than what we think we can. So pain is a beautiful thing. And your pain is willing to pay that price for your freedom. The more you hold on to it, the longer it lingers, the more it festers. And you just hold yourself from all those beautiful things that life has really to offer you. So on the other side of your pain is your joy. But never discount that the pain can still accumulate. Because if we're willing and open, that the pain doesn't have to linger when it passes through in the future. Once we have gotten this down, we start to recognize, wow, I gave that situation, that person, my heart. Now you're going to recognize that your heart's not broken. You're just sad because you didn't want to let go. And so it doesn't become a lodged pain. You celebrate it and you go, wow, if it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't know that expression of love, that feeling, what I received from the experience. You see the lesson and the blessing and everything. And that's a small price to pay for the amount of love that you experienced. But when the mind starts creating the situation as you're the victim of the circumstances, then you've lost it. If you can reclaim and recapture and recognize that the amount of love that you go in for, that equal pain will also be delivered on the other side, and vice versa. For the amount of pain you've experienced, there's got to be an equal amount of pleasure at some point. But we have to stop clinging and holding on or resisting that, because equally those energies, they attract and detract, they magnetize. And so when we can let that energy continue to flow, celebrate the waves that go on, because change is like death, and that's the process, is we are going to have a process of death, mini deaths, relationships ending, jobs ending, maybe your pet passes, you have a physical ailment, all sorts of things. You have mini deaths, and then you get to be reborn. You get to reclaim, oh wow, I'm changed because of that. That every experience is serving up opportunity for growth. And it's in those discomforts that we grow the most. So pain is simply serving you up to the next level, if you're willing to go there. Not playing small and holding back, but recognizing pain is what is necessary to grow. So there's an opportunity in it at all times. Hope you enjoyed this reading. And if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments what stood out the most. And sharing is caring. Smash the like button. Click the notifications and the notifications bell so that you don't miss any of my videos in the future. Oh, I hope this served you up. More insight into you, because that's what I'm here to do. From my heart to yours, I love you so much.